Leading scorer and rebounder for Cincinnati. Terry Nelson, Corey Blunt, Anthony Buford, and Nick Van Exel. And a look at the Michigan huddle. Michigan in the visiting uniform since they had the lower seed to get here. They were a six out of the Southeast, while Cincinnati was a 4 seed out of the Midwest. Steve Fisher in the huddle, 11-1 in the NCAA tournament, coaching today against Bob Huggins in his 3rd season at Cincinnati. Now the officials for game 1. Ed Hightower from Alton, Illinois. Don Rutledge from Windermere, Florida, and Jim Burr from Latham, New York.
And Jim, I would say all 3 of those men going to have their hands full today. These 2 teams came out. There's a little jabber in between the 2. They have, of course, even though they have not played yet this year, there is somewhat of a rivalry between the great club that they came from Michigan in the great Big Ten situation, and maybe somewhat of an underrated and underknown Cincinnati bunch.
Corey Blunt and Chris Webber start the Final Four with the Bearcats in control, and Nick Van Exel.
Blunt steps to the outside. They don't play a man in the low post, taking up a lot of space there. They want to have a lot of room. That's offense.
He wrapped his arm right around Juwan Howard, and it's called against Cincinnati on the first trip.
But Blunt showed that he's not afraid to put that ball on the floor and make a move. And here comes the press. Matching up with Buford, looking to pick off any long pass.
Jalen Rose doubled up, gets it over to Howard, and a steal right away. Van Exel. He'll shoot 2.
Jim Van Exel's had a great NCAA tournament, and what he did there is what he does so well when he penetrates. He used his body to lean in on Howard, who is an excellent shot blocker. But here it is, the first time they turn the ball over on Jalen Rose. Juwan Howard cannot get to it, and here comes quickness. Van Exel takes it right to the hoop. Howard, who's quick for a big man. Now watch this lean in. He takes the ball right into Howard and then makes it impossible for him to block it.
2 for Van Exel. He's a transfer from Trinity Junior College in Texas. He had 22 against Memphis State when they blew out Memphis State in the Midwest Final.
Neither club a solid free throw shooting team. Here's the pickup. Trapping off even missed free throws.
Jimmy King.
Straight man to man.
Howard Nelson goes inside. Webber. Oh, nice turnaround. Half hook.
And Jim, if Nelson is going to allow Webber to get the ball that low, he has no chance. He's given up about 3 inches and a lot of leaping ability. Notice total movement. Nobody in the low post stationary.
Buford, 3-pointer. Webber comes right out of it, and it's stolen away from him. Cincinnati will score for the first time on a slam dunk.
What's made this team so great is their ability to go ahead and press out of any situation. That was a missed field goal, and they were still there to press. Webber's got to learn he cannot put the ball on the floor in that backcourt area against this team.
It's Terry Nelson on the jam, and that ball deflected out of bounds. It belongs to Michigan.
Jim, another thing you've noticed so far, Cincinnati has been able to force Michigan to send the ball down the sidelines. That's exactly what they want. Michigan's got to figure out a way to get the ball to the center of the floor.
Ray Jackson touching it for the first time. Here's Webber out high. Oh, they challenged Howard. He'll take it in the lane, give it up to Webber. Again.
Beautiful half hook. You know, we haven't even seen Chris Webber use that shot very often. Jim, we've covered him a number of times this year. He usually shoots the turnaround jumper or takes it to the hoop for the dunk.
Van Exel uses a screen from Blunt and hits the jumper. He's shooting 67% from outside in the tournament, and after missing the 2 free throws, he redeems himself from the outside.
Here is Jones, an excellent defender, playing in the backcourt, a little more size.
Wide open is Webber. Couple of fakes. Well, he had 3 players sail in the air, and the last one fouled him.
Pretty good job by Nelson, though, because instead of giving up a dunk, and he said he is not going to give up any dunks to Weber, he puts Weber on the foul line where he has just now gone over the 50% mark as a free throw shooter.
What was it Nelson said? He'll be on the floor before he dunks it if I'm in the area.
He said he'd be looking up at me.
Weber even told me yesterday at practice, he says, I've been reading all this stuff and hearing all week that Cincinnati says I'm not going to be a factor in this game. He's hit a couple of field goals but misses both free throws.
And there it is. You took away 100% opportunity on the dunk, put him on the line, and Michigan comes up with 0. I don't sense any intimidation out here on the part of Michigan against this Cincinnati club.
Three-pointer, bingo for Nick Van Exel.
Jim, not only is he shooting over 60% in the tournament, that started with the great Midwest tournament, so he's on some roll.
Jimmy King comes right back to tie it at 7.
Bob Huggins upset with that. When that ball gets down the corner, he wants not only somebody playing Jimmy King, he'd like to have a double team down there.
Herb Jones, their leading scorer, has not put up a shot so far. Forced it inside perhaps, or Buford wasn't ready for it, and Michigan forces the turnover.
Pretty solid defense by Ray Jackson, who came off that outstanding defensive performance against Jimmy Jackson.
King, he's hit one already. Make it 2.
Number 1 3-point shooter for Michigan.
Michigan is 4 for 4 from the floor at the Final Four.
Good pass.
Yep, gives it up to Van Exel, and Van Exel now has 7 of Cincinnati's 9 points.
I was surprised Howard didn't go after him on that play.
Rose penetrating and scoring for the first time today.
Jim, he's so tough at 6'8". When he penetrates, he's got that ability to go up with that little leaner left-hander of his.
Our first whistle under 16, an official timeout, game 1 at the national semifinals.
Customers demand high quality and low price. They don't want a trade-off. They want it all.
My grandfather had this philosophy. I have this philosophy. We give everybody the best quality they can have at the best possible price.
With ProWatch, you get the whole package. AT&T quality and a competitive price.
We have papaya from Hawaii. We have blood oranges from Italy. Clementines from Morocco. We have cheese from almost every country that has a cow.
With AT&T ProWatch, the more he calls, the higher the discount.
I've got enough headaches keeping my business going 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and I can't be worried about my long-distance service.
AT&T has clear connections, quality facts, and the calls go through faster.
The quality isn't there, it's not a bargain. We have an expression, delivery truck goes 2 ways. If it isn't our quality, it goes back to where it came from.
You build up trust through years and years of delivering value.
We can make a difference. AT&T. Call us.
With service to more cities across the Atlantic than any other U.S. airline, Delta now makes it easier than ever for the people of America to get to know the people of Europe.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
Via.
Guten Tag. Grüezi.
Delta, we love to fly and it shows.
Здравствуйте.
Freedom. It's the spirit which moves the Cutlass Supreme, a car intelligently engineered to free your eyes, your hands, your senses. Introducing the new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. The look may change, but the spirit remains the same. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
The Oldsmobile Drive to the Final Four Cellathon. It's your best shot for a great deal now.
A car crash traps a young girl in a blazing inferno.
She was pinned in. I needed help. I needed a miracle.
Rescue 911 Tuesday.
Back in the Metrodome, the last thing Bob Huggins told his team was to keep their composure, that eventually the trapping would get to Michigan. Anthony Buford said they like to play defense because all the traps and steals lead to alley-oops and dunks. Jim?
Well, that was how they scored their first basket. A steal and a dunk for Nelson. Only one missed shot in this game. Cincinnati 4 out of 5. Michigan 5 for 5. Martin has come into the game for Cincinnati. Eric Martin.
Good rub off by Van Exel. He didn't get the ball. Jimmy King cannot afford to allow him to rub off that way.
Van Exel.
He'll beat him.
Oh.
Turned it over. Watch Jalen Rose look over this defense, try to get the ball in the middle somehow.
Oh, tough pass.
That's going for the home run ball too early. Got to flash guys up to the top of the key, get the ball in the middle, and then break down the defense. Van Exel has some quickness on Jimmy King. You know it, Jim?
You've already seen that. He could have fired up a 3 on the last trip where he turned it over. That's out of bounds belonging to Cincinnati.
Ray Jackson, an excellent defender, and against Jones, who is one of the best post-up players in college basketball, Jackson just beating him to the spot.
Anthony Buford with the ball. He played for Huggins at Akron and then transferred. Played for him for 2 years, driving and laying it up short. Weber spots the break opportunity, and Jackson lost it. Weber's right there. Blunt pulls it down. Cincinnati wants a break. Buford with Rose shouldering him, and Rose is called for the foul. Well, repeat champions, Billy. It hasn't happened since 1973 with UCLA, but Cincinnati pulled it off in 61 and 62, celebrating the 30-year anniversary of that last championship.
And of course, during that time, beat the great Jerry Lucas Ohio State teams and had a chance to become the first three-peat college basketball club and got beat by Loyola in that great overtime game.
And Duke will be trying to duplicate that back-to-back as UCLA last did it in 73, and they'll be playing Indiana later tonight. Jeff Scott has come in for the Bearcats, replacing Blunt, and here comes the pressure.
Well, you can see that Bob Huggins is very confident with that bench of his. He's going to go 9 deep today. He's going to use those fellas quite a bit. And that puts some pressure on Steve Fisher to start thinking about his bench early on in this game.
Howard finds a slashing King, and he is fouled by Jeff Scott, who just entered the game.
If Michigan will get the ball to the center instead of going down the side as they did right there, they're going to be able to go ahead and work very well against this press.
Ray Jackson inbounding. Great defensive player, Billy, and Herb Jones, who he's guarding, has not been a factor so far. Cincinnati's leading scorer. Oh,
good
Rose
steal.
Got it right back.
Steal. Now, this is an area on the floor, particularly with Corey Blunt not in the game, where Michigan can take advantage if they can get the game in the paint. Blunt's coming right back in.
Scott's been in the game, Billy, for a minute, and he's already been assessed 2.
Well, I don't think he's got, let's see if he's taken, yeah, he is taking Scott out. I thought maybe that Bob Huggins might try to get big there and play Scott together with Blunt.
Howard, turnaround over Jones.
Oh, look at Van Exel get up.
You said he's quick, Billy. He can leap. Martin coming on a wing, tries to get it over to Jones. Wolverines race ahead. Tough pass. Weber trying to go inside to Howard.
Well, we've seen Chris Weber on the break try to make a play that's not quite the calculated pass you want to make at this stage of the game. It's kind of like Rose's long pass. I mean, it was there, but he didn't have to make it quite so such a fancy play. Now watch the screen off the top. A scissors play. Looking to hit the guards down low.
Jones on the baseline. He's doubled up. Weber blocks it out of bounds.
Now Weber will have a little something to say. Jones on the way by. Don't bring that stuff in here.
A little jawing during the warm-ups, Billy.
Well, actually, I'm kind of surprised. They started out in the warm-ups really talking to each other, but they haven't in the game so far.
Nice move by Buford over the taller defender.
Buford averaging a little over 15 a game.
Jimmy King, he'll pull up and nail it. Oh, he's hot at the start. That's a 2 for King, and he's 3 for 3 from the floor, including a couple of threes.
An excellent jump shooter from the outside. He's getting more and more confidence as the year goes on. Oh, good change off the pass. Chris Webber was lucky that he got a piece of that one because Martin had an easy layup.
Which freshman will be replaced first? Yeah, and Webber a moment ago telling Cincinnati, what a great picture.
Well, you know,
Bob Fishman telling him to zip it up, guys, telling Cincinnati, I'm sure.
Well, you know, he really has a lot of emotion in the game, Jim, and I think a lot of times it's emotion within himself. He might have been talking to himself, say, let's get back to the game.
Alan Jackson handling the ball in for the first time for Cincinnati. Michael Talley has come in for Michigan, replacing Jalen Rose. Rose, the first freshman to sit. Jones.
Well, he hasn't had any luck taking the ball inside on Jackson, so he shoots from a standstill jumper.
Hit
Good
a
idea.
That was a 3. Weber, right past 2 Bearcats who could have stolen it.
Well, that pass was intended for Howard. He didn't get his hands up in time, and it went all the way through to Chris Webber, who was on the ball enough to be ready to make the catch. And I thought Steve Fisher would go to that bench, bring some of those experienced players in. It's going to take more than a starting team to win this one.
Second chance opportunity. Stolen away. No, they won't get that chance. Talley will take the middle. Dish it to King.
360.
Followed up by Jackson.
Buford will take it at him.
Oh, Weber. He was trying to draw the charge, and he just weaved his way right around him.
Well, Buford now has taken it against Weber. Van Exel has taken it against Howard, so they're not afraid to take it inside, even the guards. Back in. That should be a goaltend. That should be a goaltend. Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about it first. Jim Burr says yes from midcourt. That counts, goaltending and a foul.
Without question, the foul was committed, and what might have happened in that particular case, the minute that the foul was called, Martin might have gone up there not realizing that the play had not ended because it was an obvious goaltend.
2 on Blunt and 2 on Scott. The inside guys for Cincinnati, and they brought in Terrence Gibson. Bob Huggins' first signee. Scott bouncing back off the bench, in for Blunt.
Jim, that could be a real serious problem, and you'd like to be, if you're Bob Huggins, an opportunity to stay as big as possible. You don't want Michigan to be able to play volleyball on that rim.
Officials timeout with 11:58 to go in the first half. The Wolverines by 1.
These extinct relics of American business remind us that waste and inefficiency don't pay. And that while perhaps it used to be impressive to throw money around, today it's more impressive not to. A timely reminder from the only company that guarantees 10:30 overnight delivery for up to 40% less. UPS.
This is our vision of what a luxury sedan should be. Not because it offers rich leather and anti-lock brakes, but because it comes standard with an airbag on the driver's side and the passenger side as well, creating a luxury sedan where even peace of mind is shared. The new 929, the first luxury sedan from the new Mazda.
It just feels right.
It is one of the most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. The Big Q is One Tough Motor Oil.
A car with a worn suspension is more than uncomfortable. It's unsafe. But Midas puts you back in control. For a limited time, buy one Shocker strut and get the second for 50% off. For a safer suspension, nobody beats Midas.
Why did Hertz invent #1 Club Gold service? To beat the rush hour. See, every plane and everybody seems to land at once. But with Gold service, There are no counters and no paperwork. You go non-stop to your car with your name in lights. Hertz, #1 Club Gold. The best reason yet why Hertz beats the rush hour. Call Hertz today for low daily rates on Lincolns with free unlimited mileage.
He heard voices that made him kill their daughter. He says he's all better. Would you let him go free? 48 Hours, Wednesday.
Jimmy, you want to see what it looks like to play against a tough press? Michael Talley sees everybody coming, throws it, fires it right for Howard. It's an errant pass, goes by Howard, but look at the ever-alert Chris Webber, grabs it and dunks it on through. So Talley had the right idea, and it turned out to be the right play, even though it was an accident.
Blistering pace, over 60% for both teams from the floor.
Double O post.
Gibson, good bounce pass inside to Jones.
Smart by Jackson to pick that dribble up and get it backwards. He was going right into the teeth of the trap.
Michael Talley gives it up to Webber.
We got a change in the defense now by Cincinnati. They're playing a matchup zone and trapping out of that. Oh, beautiful.
Great move. He never caught it. He just tapped it over to Webber, who has 8. But Juwan Howard to Webber, and Wolverines lead by 3.
Jim, in that zone, Cincinnati is very, very small. Jones is listed at 6'5". He's probably closer to 6'3". The guards are small now, and Martin's 6'5". So Michigan can throw right over the top of the zone.
Martin got it right back.
Hey, can you believe Cincinnati taking it to him on the boards?
Talley makes the fake. Oh, good rejection by Jackson, Alan Jackson. Gibson on the wing. Oh, Scott could be, yep, Scott's a hit with his 3rd. Jeff Scott.
Now they're really going to be small because Nelson, you can't afford to put Blunt back into the game. He's got 2. So now Nelson comes in to be the tallest player on the floor. This is going to be a very difficult couple of minutes for Bob Huggins' club.
That's 6 team fouls. You see Terry Nelson back in, the team comedian at Cincinnati.
And Steve Fisher has not yet had to use Eric Riley, so he can get even bigger if he wants to go to the bench.
Howard, jumper. Followed up by Rose.
Jim, they're too big with this lineup on the floor.
Van Exel has come back in at the point.
Now you say on the other end of the floor, why not create a mismatch? The problem, Nelson not a scorer.
Talley pushed off. His first, team foul number 3.
See, they're just playing right over the top now. Good block out by Nelson, but no way for the small guards to handle Rose, who's 6'8", playing at the guard position. Bob Huggins' worst nightmare, get his big people where he was going to have a problem matching up anyway in such early foul trouble.
Van Exel, 3-pointer. Webber now with 4 rebounds.
See what else is tough now with Talley, King, and Rose in the game. They have 3 ball handlers.
Watch out! Talley, oh, what a nice move that is. Talley, who has really been one guy frustrated by the curtailed playing time. He has started some this season, getting some minutes here and looking good.
Jimmy had a great game against Indiana this year. 3 for 4 threes. He had 15 points in the game. Obviously a guy who knows what starting's all about. He was there at Michigan in the past.
Almost stole it to Talley and King punched up ahead to King. Jones, oh, he's lucky. Van Exel hustled also. Jones takes it into the second row of photographers. Buford, 3-pointer. That ends a 9-0 run by Michigan.
Well, Cincinnati really needed that play, and you just think it could have gone the other way because Michigan just was an inch or so away from being able to have a layup.
Yeah, Van Exel really made a play there, coming back down, Billy.
Now watch this. They're trying to match up a little bit. Nice play by Martin.
Martin denying. Jones on the break. And they'll shoot 2. Herb Jones, great hustle. but also trailing was Van Exel.
Well, Jim, he probably should have taken that ball with him out of bounds, because by tapping it back in, Michigan had 2 men there. If it had not been a big play by Van Exel, Michigan has an easy layup. He'd have been better off just taking it with him. Here comes Riley. Now, here's where Michigan really has an advantage. Out goes Howard. In comes an even bigger Riley, and we know how well he played in the NCAA tournament in the key win over Oklahoma State.
Had his best numbers of the season in that game. 15 points, 10 rebounds. Jimmy King was hit with the foul, and Jones will shoot one more. Top junior college in the country in 1990 out of Butler Junior College in Kansas. And Jones, the shooter, comes out. Gibson returns. They call Terrence Gibson instant defense. You often hear instant offense as a nickname. I remember Benny Anders used to be known as that.
Really, you know, Steve Fisher doing something here that I think is very smart. He's got 3 guards really in the game right now, 2 big men on the inside. Here's that 2-3 matchup. So he's got a lot of good ball handling.
Raised off the fingertips of Cincinnati. Michigan has it.
The other thing he gets is both King and Jalen Rose playing, in effect, wing positions are going to be dangerous rebounders.
8:33 to go in the first half. Michigan 25, Cincinnati 23. The winner plays Monday in the championship game. Rose goes through the defenders. Oh,
he is so good at that jump stop, jump shot as he penetrates. You know, you're coming right at the basket. It's very difficult to have any good perception on that shot. Normally it's hit off the back of the rim, but he's perfect with it. Riley on Nelson. He can afford to drop out and help block some shots here. He knows Nelson's not looking for his shot.
Van Exel fired it inside. Nelson able to get it back. Hold. A hold against Weber.
Now Martin has got a quick first step. He's an excellent leaper on the second jump, and he just went right to Chris Weber.
That's the first against Weber. Team foul number 5.
Well, see how quick Martin was with that first step. Weber lays out.
An official's timeout.
A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
Even with shift on the fly 4-wheel drive. High-track independent front suspension. And a rugged fuel-injected V6. There are still some places you'd never dream of taking your family unless you owned a Toyota 4Runner. Go ahead, put yourself out there.
Tie game, back after this. Twist off 7-Up caps and win as the Uncola celebrates the 100th year of basketball. Collect all the 7-Up caps you can, because if you spell Y-E-A-R, you'll win a $10,000 college scholarship or win a Spalding mini basketball instantly. So collect your Uncola caps and win. 7-Up employees not eligible.
Win part of $1 million in scholarships from 7-Up, the Uncola.
Karma's gonna get you. Gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Join the human race. How in the world you gonna see? Laughing at fools like me. Who on earth do you think you are? A superstar? Well, right you are.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the Final Four.
The last 6 months, this building has housed the World Series, the Super Bowl, and now the Final Four. And at the 7:52 mark to go in the first half, game summary, Billy, Michigan 63%, Cincinnati 47.
Well, what's amazing about that is Cincinnati has done a great job holding opponents to just 41% so far in the tournament. And whenever they outshoot their opponents, they're 21-0. So at this point, you can see why they're just down 4.
Jim Nance and Billy Packer from Minneapolis, Indiana, and Duke. The second game of our doubleheader.
Yeah, look at how small this club is on the floor right now for Cincinnati. Nelson and Martin are going to have to get it done inside. Buford actually playing a forward spot.
Foul outside on Ray Jackson. You said Martin and Nelson would have to do it inside. They're both 6'5", Billy. They're the biggest players on the court right now for Cincinnati.
As I said, Buford's lined up now with Jackson. That helps Michigan a little bit in the fact that they get their best defender on the most dangerous player out there now.
First on Jackson. Each team has committed 6 team fouls, so 1 away from the bonus.
Cincinnati showing good patience here, Jim. Occupying the clock, making the bigger Michigan team have to really work on defense.
Martin steps past Weber.
That could be a huge call. That's going to be Ronnie that went down. They're going to call him for getting over underneath. Basket counts. This is an excellent move by Martin. He goes right by, and that official was all over it, Jim. Ronnie just... He did not have position.
I was surprised how easy it was to get past Weber. Made one quick dart, and he was on his way to a 3-point opportunity.
Well, I talked about that explosive move he made on Weber just a time or two ago. Chris is going to have to sit down to play Martin. And the press stays on, pulling that zone out a little bit. They've got the break.
This will tie it at 27. Terrence Gibson with the layup.
Excellent job by Bob Huggins' club.
A 9-2 run for the Bearcats. And a foul on Martin, who pushed off. Talley will be the shooter. He'll shoot a 1-and-1. Steve Fisher, 11-and-1 in the tournament.
Well, you notice some other fellas on that list we'll probably see a little bit more of today. Mike Krzyzewski, Bob Knight.
He says the most important win of them all was his first when he stepped in the tournament and had a struggle against Xavier. He said, had I lost the Xavier game, I never would have been the coach. Never would have hired me. Juwan Howard has come in for Michigan. On this 9-2 run and looking to take the lead, Buford. Oh, what a tip.
That's Martin. See how quickly he gets up on that second lead?
And Gibson gives the Bearcats the lead.
Martin is really playing great basketball. Talley's got to go backwards with this ball some. Here comes the trap.
Ray Jackson. He was hit with the body by Martin. His second, team foul number 8. The Michigan team composition. And really the only senior that plays is Freddie Hunter, a former walk-on. Jimmy King back in. Jackson at the line for 2.
Jim, the guy that's really doing it for Cincinnati is Eric Martin. He was a co-MVP with Blunt in junior college. He hasn't had any great number type games, but he's very solid. And today he's showing what he can do inside, and they really need him with both Scott and Blunt on the bench.
Again, a teammate, as Billy mentioned, of Corey Blunt at Rancho Santiago Junior College.
And he gets it alive again.
Yep. 1-point lead for Cincinnati and possession.
Michigan has been thrown out of sync with this press.
Martin again getting past Weber. Short on off the glass.
And that was Blunt that was up there to keep the ball alive.
Offensive. They got him with the elbow. Howard.
One of the things that Bob Huggins has done with the press is that it can attack you at any time. It attacks on missed shots. It attacks on made shots, missed or made foul shots. Now watch this right here. They stay right with the press. Normally, and a good call by the official, normally a team would break down at that point and get back on defense, but Cincinnati keeps it right in your face. The Michigan players are going to have to get used to that, throw the ball backwards, get in the hands of their guards as quickly as they can.
That's 2 on Juwan Howard. Herb Jones back in for Cincinnati. That ball deflected by Jimmy King, who was defending the inbounds pass. Jackson will dunk it home for a 1-point Michigan lead.
Much smarter play by Weber. Just make the good fundamental two-handed chest pass to the following Jackson. Van Exel really posts up well, but he's just not getting him the ball on his cuts.
King knocked it out of his hands. The first sentence of the preseason media guide at the University of Cincinnati says,
no more talk.
No more talk.
They've been warned about the talking.
But Jim, we thought this would be the game of the great debate. It hasn't been quite as physical as I anticipated, but there is a lot of jabbering and a nice piece of officiating there to say, hey, let's play the game.
Riley in for Weber.
Man-to-man out of bounds.
Buford missing. 2 Bearcats fight for it. And Van Exel let Howard pick it up.
And here comes trapping
but
again.
He read that one all the way. Van Exel.
Jalen Rose starting to get annoyed, I think, out here in the fact that he's not had the ball in his hands, which is exactly what Cincinnati wanted to do to this club. There he is. Get the ball back out to the man that can get something accomplished. Check out the defense. Matching up in the zone.
Oh, they deny it again and take it away. Martin will wait.
Not good spacing there, Jim. Jalen threw that ball from so far out in the low post against quicker people.
Buford, beautiful for Buford.
Now that's a young man from Flint, Michigan that wasn't recruited by one Big Ten school. He's got a little bit to prove today.
So Wisconsin sent him a letter, but no one really showed him any interest. Rose, short, and Jones has it. Oh, not for long. Ray Jackson right back for Michigan. Rose missing, Riley saving, no, on the line. Television timeout under 4. 31-30, Cincinnati.
Want to run your windowing software fast? Then you need a real power source inside. A source that can generate the power your software needs. The affordable Intel 486. Power it up and run your software at light speed. Intel, the computer inside.
Mister, I'm taking you in.
Marshal, isn't the fella entitled to a last meal?
Folks everywhere are heading to McDonald's for the return of the Wild West. Calls for a limited time you can rustle up the sassy two-fisted McRib, smothered in barbecue sauce on a fresh home-style bun.
Ma'am, that was mighty tasty. I'll need an order to go.
What you want is what you get.
At McDonald's today.
Don't you know it's not polite to talk with your mouth full?
Introducing United Airlines' renowned international service to cities throughout Latin America. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
last year's biggest Academy Award winner.
They've just created something totally illogical.
Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams, Sunday.
Well, this building yesterday had 33,000 fans in attendance for practice. Jim Nance and Billy Packer with you at Game 1. What do you think so far, Billy?
Well, I'm very impressed with Cincinnati's press, Jim. They force 20 turnovers a game. They pick up about 9 steals a game. What they've been able to do right now, as you can see, Michigan's had 29 possessions. Cincinnati's been able to put the press on 16 times in various ways, and it's resulted in 5 turnovers. So they're right on target. And what they've also been able to do with the press is keep the ball out of Jalen Rose's hands so that they can't get working in the paint against Cincinnati's team that is much smaller.
I was about to say before, their media guide started the season by saying this is a team that's an unknown entity, and that certainly has been the case. They're still unknown somewhat, even at the Final Four. Van Exel. That was very smooth, wasn't it?
He's on a roll.
Yes,
he let Jimmy King know that he just faked him out and got that jumper off. Not a good place to pick up your dribble.
They say there was contact from Buford.
Jim against a press, and you know where the pressure points are going to be, just as you cross half court. So if you're Jalen Rose, you cannot pick up your dribble at that spot because you have no alternative then. Howard was coming to him, but he didn't have a good position.
First on Buford, team foul number 9, so it's a 1-and-1 for Juwan Howard.
Played his big offensive game of the year against Indiana this year. Solid defender.
Remember how we speculated had Eric Montross signed with Michigan instead of North Carolina and followed in his father's footsteps? May it perhaps altered the future Fab 5 signing? I talked to Howard about that, and he says, yeah, probably would have altered my decision to come to Michigan.
And then who knows what would have happened, Jim?
Weber in for the shooter.
As Howard was the catalyst that brought Weber and Rose, King, and Jackson.
He was the first to sign. He signed in November of '90. Before his senior season in high school.
Jones playing way out on top. It looks like they're going to try to get Buford and Van Exel the ball. Nice.
Oh, nice teamwork. Passing in the paint and back to a 3-point lead.
Well, when Cincinnati was destroyed by Indiana earlier in the year, another trap.
And Van Exel, great pass to Jones. Right over the line.
Sensational play.
Largest lead of the day for Cincinnati.
There's Rose picking the ball up. Boy, they have really taken Michigan out of their half-court set.
Van Exel with a push-off. And there are a few words exchanged with King and Van Exel.
See, right there is the trapping point. Michigan's running exactly into the area that Cincinnati likes, and you start talking about an incredible catch and put back by Herb Jones. Watch this. He goes right over the top, puts it back up the right hand. Beautiful play.
First foul against Nick Van Exel, so number 10 on Cincinnati. So that means a double bonus situation. 2 free throws for Jimmy King.
Jim, if Michigan's going to offset the press, they cannot get themselves to cross half-court area right in the corners and get the double team just as Cincinnati wants. They've got to get the ball to the center of the floor and not be so anxious to attack the press. Make the press work at least one pass.
Jimmy King, Mr. Texas basketball last year in high school out of Plano, and he hits them both to cut the lead to 3. 10 for King.
Jimmy King right now has his hands full with Van Exel, who's as hot as any guard in the tournament.
And he's trying another 3, but Weber, big-time rebound. His 5th. And Jackson led Rose too much.
And Jim, you notice how few times today Jalen Rose has been the man that has the ball in his hands.
Indiana and Duke about 30 minutes after this one finishes.
Cincinnati's number 1 piece of strategy when we talk to Bob Huggins is to keep it out of Rose's hands, and they have done a great job of that in this first half. Very unselfish team is Cincinnati.
Huggins been coaching for 10 years, said it's the most unselfish group he's ever had. Good pass by Van Exel. Baseline, easy shot for Terry Nelson.
Nelson is not going to look to score often. That's about his range in the jumper, but he doesn't take bad shots.
But again, it was Van Exel with the assist. Not only scoring, but setting up his teammates as well.
You notice when they get a trap, they don't necessarily give up on it. Here it comes. Buford stays right with the trap.
King could set up a break for the Bearcats.
They have taken Michigan right out of the game with the trap.
Oh, and Rose was just planted, and they went right by him.
Jim, we wondered if there would ever be a cracking point for these freshmen. They're seeing a type of game that they have not seen. They do not control the tempo of this game, nor the way it is to be played, and it's really thrown them off stride.
Herb Jones' dunk makes it a 7-point margin. King in and out. Weber on the follow. Oh, missed the layup. Riley's there, however.
Well, when the ball gets down in the paint where Michigan wants it, they can score.
Final minute of the first half.
They're going to hold for one. Good job.
Michigan had gone 4.5 minutes without a field goal before that shot by Riley.
How about Buford telling everybody what to do? What a leader out here.
They call him coach.
Yep.
And he has the ball now, Buford. It's a 14-second differential, as you can see.
Think they'd like to see Herb Jones get that ball down the low post, or just a clear out?
Jones driving.
2 seconds.
2 seconds on the shot clock. They reset it as it goes out of bounds to 5.
Well, and the thing, Jim, is going to be interesting here. I think they've got time for Van Exel clearing out.
We see Voskuhl come in for Michigan.
And Steve Fisher did a wise thing, reminding his club that it is back to 5 seconds. Look for Van Exel to rub off here.
Nelson right back to the inbounds pass from Martin.
Back to 5.
Yeah. They're going to get the last shot of the half if they keep up at this pace.
I was looking for a rub off, get Van Exel for the jumper on the side, but now he's taking the ball out of bounds. It's for Buford.
Three-pointer. Oh. Tipped by Nelson. Nelson almost got it for a second time. And Weber up ahead.
Oh, Jim, there's no. There is no way. What happened to all the time? Is that possible if they had that much time?
Yep. Pretty good effort from three-quarter court, too.
Those 5 seconds extra helped Michigan.
Cincinnati 41, Michigan 38. We'll be right back from the Final Four.
For the last time, name the secret ingredient that gives Diet Pepsi an unfair advantage. Well, what is it?
It's like this, baby. You know it's cause the taste says, baby. You got the right one, baby.
With 100%
Okay, now let's meet the stars of the other game in town. The Oldsmobile Drive to the Final Four Cellathon, where the deals and values are spectacular on every new old. Example, the new Achieva with Smart Lease. Just $199 per month. For 48 months and no down payment gets you an Achieva. With anti-lock brakes, automatic transmission, and air. The game clock is running, so net a great deal now.
At an airport counter, 2 cops charge you with being a drug dealer. You're not. Yeah, prove it. All they've got to do is suspect it. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
It's back-to-back Bert. 2 great shows, 1 hilarious hour.
Yes, I can do both at the same time.
First, little Emily's left home alone.
Oh, is she sleeping?
She was the last time we saw her.
Then, will guest star Robbie Benson help the coach win his first game?
Calm down, though. It's the big time.
An hour of Evening Shade Monday.
All those who love great comedy say aye.
We'll return with the Prudential at the half after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1992 NCAA Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. United, come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by McDonald's, what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Mercedes-Benz automobiles represent decades of durability testing, leading-edge technology, plus one reassurance you're unlikely to find in many other cars: seats actually designed to withstand the energy of a rear impact. That's just one of the many virtues that makes a test drive worth your time, and a Mercedes-Benz well worth the difference.
It is one of the most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. The Big Q is One Tough Motor Oil.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm not a real doctor, but if I were, I'd recommend Ligament for occasional muscle pain.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
This is CBS.
Before you try anything new on an Alaska Airlines flight, we try it first.
Too spicy? Too spicy? Too spicy.
More? Too far.
Too far?
Too far.
Too far.
Still too spicy?
Still too spicy.
Still too spicy.
Louder?
Louder. Louder.
Louder?
Louder. Louder. Too loud.
Too loud.
Too loud.
Why does Alaska Airlines go to all this trouble? So you won't have to.
Prudential at the Half is sponsored by the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid. The Prudential.
It's a beautiful day in the Twin Cities area, but we'll give it to them. We're watching basketball inside. Cincinnati leads Michigan 41-38 at the half. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, along with my partner, Mike Francesa. Welcome to the Prudential at the Half. And Cincinnati just took Michigan right out of this game.
It did, Pat. They took them out of the game. The traps worked. 12 Michigan turnovers, and I thought that Cincinnati was able to play small. They were quick, and what they showed was a lot of toughness. They took it right to the Wolverines in the first half.
It's Final Four time, Mike, as you know, and that means it's also time for another rite of spring, the awarding of the Chevrolet MVPs.
Hi, I'm James Brown. Today we conclude this year's edition of the Chevrolet Scholarship Program with the presentation of the Chevrolet Player and Coach of the Year Awards as selected by the CBS Sports staff. With me to present the awards is Frank Rain from Chevrolet. Welcome, Frank.
Thanks, James. It's great to be with you again in another exciting Final Four. In this, our 22nd year, the Chevrolet Scholarship Program has topped the $4 million mark in contributions to the nation's colleges and universities. This program has been a long-term priority at Chevrolet because it represents an investment in the future of America. If this country is going to continue to excel, we need the leadership of today's brightest students. It's in this spirit of excellence and leadership that we're pleased to honor the best.
There were so many good candidates for Player of the Year. However, one stood tall all season long. Christian Laettner from Duke University. Christian is the epitome of a team player and leader. He is the ACC Player of the Year and on too many All-American teams to mention. Duke's senior co-captain hopes to leave with a flurry by leading Duke to their second straight national championship. A competitor on the court who can forget this game winner in the East Region Final against Kentucky.
Finds Christian Laettner with a 50-foot pass.
Congratulations, Christian. It's my pleasure to present you with this trophy as Chevrolet's Player of the Year.
Thank you very much. I feel very honored and privileged to receive this award. I'd like to thank the people at Chevrolet and also my coaching staff and my teammates. It is through them that I've been able to get this recognition.
And now the Coach of the Year winner, George Raveling from the University of Southern California. In his 6th year at USC, Coach Raveling led the Trojans to their first 20-win season since 1979 and a school record 15 conference victories. Coach Raveling was also named the Pac-10 Coach of the Year.
Congratulations, Coach Raveling. It's an honor and a pleasure to present you with this trophy as the Chevrolet Coach of the Year and a check from Chevrolet in the amount of $2,500 to the USC General Scholarship Fund.
Thanks, Frank. To be the recipient of this award is a humble and yet exhilarating experience. On behalf of the University of Southern California and its basketball team, we would like to thank Chevrolet for this award and all it does for intercollegiate athletics.
Coach, let me add my congratulations to both you and to Christian. And Frank, thank you very much for your continued support of collegiate athletics and education through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program.
As long as everybody's congratulating, we had ours as well. Of course, we'll see Christian Laettner in action in our second national semifinal as his Duke Blue Devils battle the Indiana Hoosiers. But next, we'll check in on the Michigan and Cincinnati locker rooms as At the Half rolls on from the Final Four on this 4th day of the 4th month here on CBS.
Gathered at racetracks from Silverstone to Watkins Glen. Why did something so many people love have to disappear? Coming April 20th, the return of the pure sports car, the new Mazda RX-7.
A mistake was made. Okay, we forgot. We overlooked it.
Say you need something sent overnight. There are a few companies you can call, but say you need it Saturday morning, guaranteed. There are 2, but only one is so efficient.
Bobby, just give me a couple of minutes.
They get it there on time for far less, which is why to some, there is only one, UPS.
2 minutes here. Yeah, 12. Who's 12? 40. Yeah, let's go get him on. Let's go.
What do you get when you take a driving experience this pure and add 255 horsepower? Coming April 20th, the return of the pure sports car. The new Mazda RX-7.
Student athletes, role models, men and women striving for success in sport and success in life. As they travel the road to their own goals, they also show the way to others. Here are their stories. 13 men and women offering inspiration to student athletes of the future. The name of the game is life. To order, call 1-800-537-2684. This message provided by the NCAA.
Remember the excitement of the 1992 NCAA Final Four with the official souvenir program. To receive your copy, send $8 to Final Four Program, 904 North Broadway, Lexington, Kentucky, 40505. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
The Drums of April here in the Metrodome. Cincinnati leads Michigan 41-38. Welcome back to the Prudential at the halftime. Now to check in with our roving reporters who are in the hallway, and so is Christian Laettner, who arrived here just a few moments ago getting ready for his game. And our reporters are in those hallways as well. Let's check in now with JB. James?
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Michigan's worst fears occurred in the first half. That was not protecting the ball. Consider that Michigan turns the ball over 17 times a game, 12 in the first half here that led to 16 Cincinnati points. Give Cincy's defense an awful lot of credit. If Cincy wants to keep the ball out of the hands of Jalen Rose, they may get their wish, because Michael Talley, when he was at the point guard, was most effective for Michigan, moving Rose to the number 2 spot. A lot more patience on the offensive end. Getting back on defense is what Michigan is talking about right now. And right now, let's check down the other end of the hall with Leslie Visser.
JB, the folks at Cincinnati are happy with that defense. They forced 12 turnovers that led to 16 points. What they'd like offensively is to pass the ball a little more around the perimeter, get more touches on the ball. As for the verbal showboating, some call it trash talking, Terry Nelson said nothing he hasn't heard back home in L.A. It's home for you, Pat.
All right, Leslie, thank you. If you're Steve Fisher, what do you do to get your team back in this game?
Add patience versus the press in the second half and establish the inside game. That's where their strength is. That's where they have to go.
They're only down by 3, too. The Wolverines or the Bearcats are 1/2 away from a shot at the national title. And we'll find out as we rejoin Jim and Billy when our exclusive coverage of the Final Four continues here on CBS after a message and a word from your local station. Enjoy the second half.
The Prudential at the Half was sponsored by The Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid. The Prudential.